Welcome to Your Wish Fulfilled. This is your magical podcast to manifest what you truly desire in your heart of hearts, create a beautiful life, and start feeling better today. Today. And in this session, I'm actually going to answer some questions from listeners of the podcast. And this is a great question that came in from one of our lovely manifestors. This is actually from Ken Chan. I was just looking the name up. And I have below this episode a little form you can fill in if you have any questions for me to help you specifically. Most of the questions are very relevant for everyone. That's why I'm answering them. And today's question is basically about how can we believe in manifestation, how to overcome self-doubt that the manifestation of our desires is merely an illusion and only exists in our imagination, while at the same time maintaining passion and enthusiasm as if it's already achieved, So like, if you don't believe it's possible, then it becomes hard to experience that it's already there. So that's one part of the question. The other one is about how to create a clear vision. And the third thing is how to receive divine guidance. And I think I'm just going to take the first two. So how do we overcome this subtle disbelief that this is all just in our head? Maybe you sometimes wonder, is this actually going to work? Can you just thinking about what you want actually lead to the outcome you want? Or is it just in your mind? So what do you think? Are we just deluding ourselves? Are we just playing games on ourselves? Is this whole thing a scam? Or is there some magic power at work here? Can we, as human beings, create what we want? I'm a big believer in looking at things deeply, closely, not running away from this. So let's really step back and think about this. To begin with, tune into something you would love to manifest. This is the main practice that we do. So just close your eyes and imagine in your mind and in your heart something that you'd love to experience. So it could be that you have more joy, it could be you have more wealth, better relationships, different environments, new things, your projects are finished, whatever it is. Just think of one or two things that are easy to imagine. And just imagine you walk into a new scene where those changes, those upgrades in your life have actually already happened. So just imagine, what does it look like? What does it feel like? What are you seeing? What are you hearing? Just let it become clearer, just like a memory from the past. This is a future memory. And just let yourself relax into that feeling. This practice is in itself a bit of a fine art, isn't it? Just being able to imagine what you want is a big deal. that's something unique to people who create what they want, is that they imagine what they want in their mind and then they move in that direction. This is why it's so important to write down what we want every day, because otherwise we just react to life. So I have the Wish Fulfilled Journal, which is based on this podcast, which I highly recommend you get a copy of, because filling that in every day reminds me of what I want in my life, makes me feel great, and it actually helps me figure out what to do today practically so that my vision is connected to my life. So in the process of manifesting what we want, what we're doing is we are first of all getting clear what we want, because most people don't know what they want. And it's always shocked me when I found out that 98% of the world's population don't know what they want. You might think this is a bit odd because you know what you want. And you think, well, everyone else probably knows as well. But if you were to randomly stop people on the street and just random people and say, what do you want? Let me list out your 10 goals. What is it that you want to create? Most people couldn't give you a solid answer. They'll say, yeah, it'd be nice to have more money, or it'd be nice to have whatever. But it's not really something that they're thinking about again and again. They haven't written it down. Only 2 to 3% of the world's population have written down what they want and have a plan and are doing something towards it. Isn't that amazing? 98, 97% are just reacting to life. So that is a big part of how manifestation works. It's not just in our head. We're thinking about things that we want. We're feeling that they're already here. And then we are compelled to do things or notice things that are related to what we want. So let's say someone wants more money, right? If they write down how much money they want and they imagine having more money and they're thinking about money and they're writing it down and they're thinking, what can I do today to feel wealthy, and what can I do to add value, and what books can I read, and what podcasts can I listen to, and what can I do to generate more money, and what are all my options? After a while, that person's going to figure something out, aren't they? They're going to attract situations to them. They'll talk to people about it, and other people will say, yeah, I thought about this thing. And before you know it, it will make a difference. Things will change. When I was starting out on my journey, and I help a lot of our students in the same way, is as I help my students to figure out what they want, because we have a life coaching training, spiritually based life coaching and meditation certification, where we help people write books and do courses and help people, right? So I help them get clear on what do they want to do. Do they want to do videos, courses, coaching, all the above, writing blog articles, book? What is it do they want? So first of all, you have to figure out what you want. Then you have to believe that it's possible. Don't put a time limit on it. If you say, I want to manifest what I want within like 3 weeks, it might not happen. And then life doesn't like me. So you don't want to put a limit on it. You're just open to it. And then you start thinking to yourself, all right, what do I need to do that is connected to this? So for example, I'm creating a meditation training. The meditation training's done. I've been working on the website right at this moment. It's nearly finished. So it's a high-end meditation teacher training certification program for people who want to become meditation coaches. So I had the vision to do that a long time ago. I didn't do anything about it. And then the vision came stronger. People started asking me, please create this course, please create this course. So that was like the universe giving me a sign. So the vision started the process. Then the people existing in the universe is giving me a sign through the people. And then I went to Hawaii and I shot a bunch of videos, and this whole course has taken quite a few months to put the course together. Then the website, that takes ages. And now it's nearly finished. And before I know it, I'll be enrolling lots and lots of new people into that program because people want it, right? But they don't know about it because it's currently unavailable right now. But it will become available. And all of this existed in my mind. And that's going to turn into a very successful business because of the vision, the plan, and the action. So you have to remember at the beginning, there's nothing there. You just have something in your mind. There's nothing there except your thoughts. But as you build your inner world and as you create a reality that you can see and feel inside your consciousness, that turns into ideas. It also changes your perspective of what's possible around you. And you start to filter things in your field of view that otherwise would be invisible. So what does that mean? It means that when your internal vision of life for yourself, when you think about what you want, changes, then what you see through your eyes, what you notice, begins to change. So, for example, let's say somebody has cancer, right, and they want to recover. They can imagine themselves being well. They want to get rid of the cancer. They want to feel better. Because they have that vision, because they have that problem, their mindset will filter out anything to do with cancer treatment and cancer cure. So if they're scrolling through their phone and something says like cancer cure or cancer this, cancer something, they will stop and look at it. But all the other stuff, they'll just scroll. They're not interested. Do you see what I mean? So there's all this information, and most of it we just completely ignore and delete. So we only pay attention to the things that are relevant to us. And as you change your vision of what you want, what becomes relevant to you changes. And because it changes internally, what you start to see and notice and pay attention to changes. And then what you write down on your to-do list for the day changes. So your actions change, your perception changes, your noticing changes. And as you keep moving in that direction, physically things will change because this is the law of the universe, law of karma. If you keep taking action in a certain direction with a good intention, something's going to happen. Now, a lot of law of attraction teachings sort of teach the method that you just have to visualize what you want and don't do anything at all. Just don't do anything. And just let it come to you. That is not really true. It's partially true. I'll give another example, practical example. I had a fascinating conversation with someone yesterday who's just joined one of our courses. She's a soccer player. She's on the Big Island in Hawaii. And so many years ago, I had this vision, and it's come to me quite a few times. Wouldn't it be great to help sports people with the power of the mind? Because they use this, the top players, like tennis players and top athletes, they visualize success in their mind before they go on the field and put in the performance, right? So they win in their mind first. And then that changes their success. They've actually done studies on this. For example, there's one study I read about where they got 3 groups of people playing basketball. They're all the same age, same everything, right? So they got all these people, divided them to 3 groups. The first group practice shooting shots, basketball, a certain number of hoops, right? And they reported how much they improved. The second group just imagined shooting hoops. They didn't actually go and shoot anything. They just imagined doing it again and again and again for the same amount of time. And the third group didn't shoot hoops physically or in their mind. They were the control group. So they did this experiment, and then after that, they did a test on how much had these players improved from when they began. And what they found is that the ones who physically were shooting hoops improved by, I think, like 22% or something like that. The ones who did it in their mind improved by 21%, right? Which is like 1% difference. And then the ones who didn't do any practice, they didn't get better at all. It was the same. Isn't that fascinating? So by just imagining doing it in their mind, they improved their actual performance. So if someone imagines playing the piano, they have to have some basic understanding of what they're doing first. But if they imagine playing a piece over and over and over in their mind, then when they sit down in front of the piano, they'll be better, even though they didn't do it. Now, that's not to say that we don't have to do anything, but it goes to show how powerful the mind is on physical changes. So I had this vision, and there's all these different methods that I know about the mind and meditation and all these things. And I thought it would be great to work with some people who are into sports, because then we could test all this stuff out and see how they can improve their performance. And also how to help people let go of the outcome. Because if someone is obsessed with getting results, it hampers their joy and their performance. If the only reason I'm doing something is to get the outcome, then it actually limits my capacity to enjoy myself, because there's intrinsic motivation, which means you enjoy what you do for its own sake. And then there's extrinsic motivation, where you're only doing it for the outcome. Right? Like, why am I doing this podcast? I don't need to do this podcast. I do it because I enjoy it, right? I like talking to you. And so I'm happy to help, right? I'm not like, I need to make a certain amount of money. This podcast, as far as I know, hasn't made me any money, but I'm happy to help, right? So this is just blessings, blessings, blessings. If this turns into some very successful business at some point, that's great, but it doesn't matter. So intrinsic motivation is where you do something from the heart with your own intention of just enjoying the process. And the irony, of course, is that when we enjoy what we do, we tend to be much better at it. And as a result of that, we tend to get better results. So I had this vision that I'd love to help someone. I met someone yesterday who wants to help sports people master their mind. And so I'm going to be really excited to help her personally sort out her mind and improve her sport, because she's already doing this and she can take it to the next level. And then she wants to help other people do it. So this is just like a vision I held in my mind. I'd love to help sports people, top sports people, get better, and not just get better at their sport, but have a higher level of joy and to let go of attachment. It's more like helping them personally that inspires me, and then seeing the result in their game is like a side effect. And I can help my new student to do this herself and then teach others, right? So I get to be of service in the way that I had in my mind years ago through somebody else all these years later. You see what I mean? You see what I mean about manifesting? You hold a vision, you let it go, you're open to noticing things. And now this is about 10 years or 12 years or something since I had that thought. It wasn't like I have to, I need. It's just a very lighthearted thought. And now it's going to happen. That's often one of the key things in manifesting, is to hold the vision of what you want without a feeling of neediness. Does that make sense? If we feel needy and craving and wanting and desiring, then we're in a state of lack. Whereas if we hold the vision of what we want and just take the good feelings from it, that's why this podcast is called Your Wish Fulfilled. Because it's about experiencing the feeling that you would have if your wish was fulfilled. In other words, let me feel I've already attained what I want first, and then whatever comes of it is fine. What I find fascinating personally is that this whole process that we're talking about is turning things on their head. The modern world and just how most people live is a state of continuous fear and lack, constant lack and fear, with the belief that when we finally achieve every single thing we possibly want, then and only then will we be happy. And that doesn't work, unfortunately, because people get what they want and then they want something else and then they get the next thing they want, and it carries on and carries on and carries on. And it's never enough. So, what we're talking about here is to imagine what you want, feel you've already attained it now, bring the good feeling back into your body, and take action with a sense of intrinsic motivation, a sense of lightness and enjoyment. Align your actual actions, your physical actions, with your future desires so that what you're doing today is connected to your vision. So you imagine you already have it, but you also take action. And you keep doing it from a place of good feelings. And a little disclaimer here, which, because I know some people will listen to this and say, yeah, but what if your life's a complete disaster? If your life is a total wreck and you're living under the bridge on homeless, and you've got loads of illnesses, then even then, imagining being healthy is going to be better than not imagining being healthy, isn't it? But of course, you've got to take care of your physical situation. Like if you can't pay your bills and you haven't got enough food and all those sorts of things and you're sick, you've got to take care of it. So this isn't like a delusional thing where you just ignore reality around you completely. It's not like that. What we're saying is, let's hold a vision of our future that brings us joy and happiness. Let us absorb that energy of success into our being, because that improves our life today, no matter where we're at and whatever's going on. Right? That's like free money. It's like free good feelings. You haven't done anything and it's just come to you. So no matter how bad the situation is, that's a good thing to do. And then we also ground our practical actions so that what we're physically, practically doing today is directly and specifically connected to what we want. So, what do you want? What would you feel if you'd already attained what you want right now? And what type of actions can you do today that are directly and specifically aligned with your future vision? In other words, if you had what you want, what would you be doing? And also, what can lead you to what you want? So the practical things, like I'm working on various projects, so I have a list. I need to finish this thing, blah, 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 blah. So some of the things are moving towards what we want because we haven't physically got it yet. And other things are the sorts of things we would be doing if we already had what we want. And many, many people could be having a much better life than they are now. Like, let's say someone wants to, in their ideal vision, in their future reality, they want to go on a walk in nature and just smile and look at beautiful nature. And they, at the moment, they think, I'm too busy. I can't go on walks. I haven't got time, right? Most important thing to do is just start going on walks, because that's something you would be doing in your future. So you're pulling the future here just by doing it. So many people have got these ridiculous excuses about why they can't sit down and read a book. In my future life, I would love to just read a book in the sun. I can't tell you how many times people have said this. I would love to sit in the sun and read a magazine. I'm like, how long are you going to wait to do that? I mean, what's stopping you reading a book today? Even one page of a book is still connected to what you want to do. Amount of people, I've got all these books on my bedside table. I've got these books in my office that I want to read. I'm like, look, just why don't you just pick it up, open a page, read half a page, read one page, read one line, read a word, and then you're connecting your vision to what you want now. So this is how we manifest what we want. We overcome the doubt by thinking about this. This is a very practical process. You immediately get the good feelings by imagining what you want, because it brings you happiness. You connect your physical life today with what you want, and you move in that direction. And this is a very, very practical, proven method. And you can see for yourself simply by looking at the past and thinking about all the things you've already manifested in your life, where you previously wanted something and now you have it. And because you've got it now, you've forgotten about what it was like when you didn't have it. So if you need more faith, more belief in yourself, go back in time and think about all the different things that you already have now that at one point didn't exist. And then you'll realize that you're very good at manifesting and you do it all the time. And that's just what life is. So thank you so much for being here. Lots and lots of love. Many blessings.